To make the 6 burgers, you'll need 1 packet, which is around 500 grams, of mince, which can be beef, turkey, pork, lamb or soya mince. You'll also need a spring onion, an egg, 2 teaspoons of dried mixed herbs and black pepper to season. You may also want to serve them in wholemeal rolls with tomatoes, cucumber and lettuce. You'll need 6 rolls, 1 lettuce, 1 cucumber and about 3 tomatoes. To make enough wedges for 6 people, you'll need 5 to 6 large potatoes, or you can use sweet potatoes if you prefer, a dessert spoon of vegetable oil and black pepper to taste. To make the burgers and wedges, you'll need a baking tray, a bread knife, a chopping board, some cling film, a colander, a grill tray, a plate, a mixing bowl, some oven gloves, a saucepan, a spatula, a teaspoon and a vegetable knife. Remember to wash your hands thoroughly before handling food.
Okay, so today we're going to make beef burgers and potato wedges. Now I've washed my hands, I've got my recipe card ready so that you can just follow the recipe. And first of all, I'm going to take potatoes, not new potatoes, they don't make good wedges. Okay, and all I want you to do is to cut the potato in half, long ways, and pop it in your pan. And do that with all your potatoes. Make sure you're making a bridge so that your fingers are out of the way of the knife. And through there again. Cut. And I think that's probably enough for 6. Okay, so I'm going to rinse these potatoes now to get some of the starch off where I've cut and clean the outside. And then I've got my kettle on boiling and I'm going to cover them with boiling water. Right, I've just rinsed my potatoes and I'm going to cover them now with boiling water. Just do it slowly so it doesn't splash back over you. There we go. I've added no salt to this because they're going to be going in the oven with pepper, so you don't need salt with them. That's it. Now we're going to bring those to the boil and we're going to boil for about 5 minutes, no longer. Right, while I'm waiting for those to boil, I'm going to put the oven onto 200, ready for the wedges. Okay. Right, while they're cooking, I'm going to put 500 grams of minced beef into a bowl. And I'm just going to soften this, mash it together, just to get rid of the minced shape on it, so that it makes much softer beef burgers, okay? You can do this with your hands if you want to, but because I'm going to be chopping in a minute, I won't use my hands till later. Okay, that'll do that. Right, now I'm going to add a spring onion. So just take the end off it, the end off here. Can just take if this leaf looks a little bit muddy, or I'll just take that one off. Okay, now I'm going to wash this one and then we're going to chop it up. Okay, spring onions washed. Now let me just get a bowl to put all my debris in so that I've got plenty of room for chopping and we don't get confused. Okay, so make a claw so that your fingers are out of the way of chopping, and just finely chop the spring onion. Just want little thin circles. Okay. Just cut those a little bit smaller. There we go. Now we're going to put all these into the mince, along with a teaspoon of mixed herbs, okay? Or 2 teaspoons actually of mixed herbs. So I'm doing it over a bowl so that we know we get the right amount. 1, 2, that's that. Now over here, I've got an egg, which I'm going to crack into the bowl. Again, get rid of your debris, and I'm going to whisk it with a fork. Now this is going to help to bind the beef burger. But I'm not going to pour it all in at once, because sometimes, depending on the size of the egg, it's a little bit too big. Okay, so we'll mix this up. There's no other way really than using your hands. That's the best way to get a good mix. Just check those potatoes aren't boiling. Not quite. Okay. Now I'll just make a little hole in the middle and pour a small bit of egg in, and then mix again. Okay. It is quite slippery, but the meat will eventually take the egg. I think that might be, yeah, I think that was quite a big egg. We'll have a little bit more. Now that's my potatoes boiling, so we'll give them 5 minutes, okay? Got a big bit of spring onion there, just break it up a little bit more. That's it. Now I'll move that out of the way. Now this bit obviously is messy. You've got to divide the mixture here into your 6 burgers now. So the best way is to try and give yourself 6 balls to start off with of roughly the same size. Make sure you're getting all the spring onion out of the bowl. Now if you don't think they look quite equal, just play around with it, pinch a bit from here and there, okay? Right, so you've got 6 beef burgers, and now you're going to make them into a round flat shape, okay? Now you need to squeeze them down quite thinly, because they do tend to rise back into a ball when they're under the grill. And we'll put them on a plate. Okay, right, I've just washed my hands. I'm going to turn these down now. Have a little feel if they're about right. So just get a knife. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. You don't want to cook them till they're soft. You just want to start them off so they don't take so long in the oven. So I'm going to switch that off. Okay, and then I'm going to strain these and leave them to cool. Okay, I've strained these, so I'm going to leave them here now to cool, because you won't be able to handle those potatoes at the moment. They're far too hot. So while that's cooling, I'm going to cover the beef burgers with some cling, and then we're going to pop them into the fridge So they're easier to handle. They'll firm up in the fridge, okay? So I'll just pop these into the fridge. I'm just going to clean up now, wash everything that I've used, because I'm going to need to be cutting the fresh salad stuff on here. So we need a clean board, clean knives, everything, okay? Okay, right, these are cool enough now to touch. Check yourself, because obviously everybody can hold a different temperature in their hand. So I'm going to put these potatoes onto my board. I'll just put a few at a time because I'm not going to have enough room. Okay, and I need a baking tray. Now, you need to leave the potatoes quite chunky and try and get them reasonably similar in size so that they'll all cook at the same rate. Again, I'm going to cut them long ways. So I make a bridge with my hand and I'm going to cut down long ways to make a nice fat wedge. Okay. I think that's all the wedges we're going to get onto this tray. But obviously the oven's on. If you want to do a second tray to use up the rest, that's fine. But they're quite big, so you're probably not going to need that many each. Now, just move my board over here. So you've got your tray of wedges, and what you need to do is to put a little drizzle of olive oil onto them. Okay, now 1 tablespoon is probably going to be ample. All right, so measure your tablespoon first. That's it, and just drizzle them on, okay? Now to mix them in, again you have to use your hands to make sure that all the potatoes have got oil on them. So you just rub each one with oil. If you put too much oil, don't worry about it, but this is enough to cook them. Sometimes if you put a bit too much, they're going to be a bit soggy, okay? So that should be enough. I'll put that one on the outer side because he's a bit thicker, so he'll cook quicker. Okay, now I've just got to wash my hands again before I can pick up that tray and deal with the oven. Okay, I've washed my hands, so now I'm going to sprinkle these with a little bit of pepper before putting them in the oven. The amount of pepper you put really is up to you, it's personal taste, but they are nice. At this point you can put other spices if you wanted. If you wanted the potatoes a little bit spicier, you can put something else like cayenne pepper or chili, dried chili, okay? So I'm going to pop those into the oven now. I'm going to open the oven door. I've already got my oven set on 200 and I'm going to pop these onto the top shelf. Right, I said 40 minutes for those because the wedges were quite big, okay? If you find that your potatoes were smaller or you've cut your wedges a little bit thinner, then they're probably going to only take about 25 to 30 minutes. But keep an eye on them, okay? Okay, as you can see, I've washed my board again and cleared away, and I've got my beef burgers out of the fridge, okay? So they're a little bit firmer now and easy to handle. I preheated my grill about 5-10 minutes ago just to get it up to the right temperature before I pop the beef burgers in. So if I bring this up to a safe height and I'm just going to place these onto the grill, okay? I think you'll find again your hands are going to be the easiest thing to do it with, okay? Make sure, like I said, that they are thin, because they will thicken up under the grill. And we've got the grill on a medium heat, and I'm just going to pop those under using the other hand to grill. I'm going to wash my hands and then I'll come back and prepare the rolls. So now I'm going to prepare the salad to put inside the burgers. So I'm going to get a bowl. Okay, and into that I'm going to put, I just need 6 salad leaves. Actually, that one's quite small, so I'll just put one more with it. Now these need washing. Also, the tomatoes need washing, okay? So we'll take them all over to the sink at the same time, and the cucumber, okay? So just give them a good wash. Okay. Again. I'm not sure till I start cutting whether I'm going to need 2 or 3, so... Go, wash your cucumber and your salad leaf. Just get any bits of earth that might be down the centre of the leaf. Okay, one little tip here is because we're putting the lettuce into bread rolls, if you don't dry it, it tends to wet the bread roll. So just give them a little dry. There we go, just so your bread isn't soggy. You'll never get rid of all the water, obviously, but you'll get most of it off, okay? There we are. Okay. Now, if you turn around and have a look at your beef burgers, I think you'll find they're cooked halfway through. So, we'll just lift them up again to a safe level. And we'll just turn them over. Not going to turn. There we go. Okay. And we'll pop them back under again. I don't want them to cook too fast through, so I'm just going to turn that down slightly. Okay, right, get your bread rolls. And just cut them in half. Next, you're going to cut your tomato. So it's quite nice not to have it too thin. Have a good chunk. And if you're like me, before you get any further, you can use that tomato for something else, but I wouldn't try and cut much closer. Especially if you're not experienced at using a knife. So we'll get 1, 2, 3. There we are, that's 6 slices there. And you can do the same with your cucumber. Doesn't matter that there's crumbs on the board because obviously it's going to be going into the bread rolls. And just there go. Okay. Now you can put your rolls ready if you want. So you just open your roll and you pop in a bit of lettuce, tomato, and a couple of cucumbers, and that's ready for your beef burger. So I'll just remove this and I'll get a plate. Okay, I think we'll look at these wedges now, because these have been in 40 minutes. So like I said to you earlier, doesn't have to be that long if they're smaller, but mine were quite chunky. Okay, so we'll leave that there to cool just for a minute while we're waiting for the beef burgers. Oh, I could actually put a few of those onto the plate. Ready. Bearing in mind they are going to be very, very hot. And I think that's probably, I would agree, that's enough because they're quite big. Okay. Just check on the beef burgers again. Oh, a little bit longer, sorry. These beef burgers are ready, so I'm going to switch the grill off, take them out, and shut the door. Right, so let's dish a beef burger onto here. And there we are. That's one serving.
On this Eat Well plate, which provides a handy guide to which food groups the main ingredients are from and how balanced the meal is, you can see this dish provides plenty of protein and starchy foods. Using only a small amount of oil will help keep your intake of foods high in fat to a minimum, and serving with plenty of salad will help ensure that this dish is as well balanced as possible.